Today's December 15th. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through your assignments. So it is Tuesday. You have a couple different assignments. Don't get overwhelmed with the amount. It's still the same stuff you've been working on. Yesterday, you read scenes 1 and 2 from Act 2. So now you're going to do the Scrooge transformation for scenes 1 and 2 from Act 2. So let's go ahead and look at that first. All right, so we're scrolling down to Act 2. All right, so the same applies. You're only going to fill out the yellow boxes and make sure that you pay attention to the top here so that you know exactly what you need to be doing. These may look like they've been filled out, but notice the ... here. These are sentence starters, so you can give yourself, or so that you know what to type next. So we are looking for, again, character traits that describe Scrooge, text evidence to support your character trait, and then explain what Scrooge's interaction with Christmas present reveals about him. All right, so we have that he is tight-fisted. Scrooge says a tremendous family to provide for when he's talking about the Cratchits, saying how it's crazy that Mr. Cratchit has so many kids when he doesn't have any money. And then over here, you'll tell me how Scrooge's interaction with present shows that he is still what. So, in other words, he has slightly changed from his experience with the Ghost of Christmas Past, but how is he still his same old Scrooge self based on what's happened here? Then, got a quote for you. Scrooge says, "Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night on compulsion and learned a lesson which is working now. Tonight, you have ought to teach me. Let me profit by it." So, what is this interaction with present showing about Scrooge and how his perspective is changing? And then tell me a character trait that goes along with it. Okay? So, in other words, here, Scrooge is saying that he's learned a lesson. So, he would like to learn another lesson that he can profit by. How is that different? How is that changing his perspective based on the person that he used to be? Do you think that that person would have asked for help learning something? Or do you think that maybe that's something that is different in him now? And explain that to me. And then tell me a new character trait that goes along with it. All right, so that was scene 1, and then it jumps straight to scene 3. So you don't have to worry about any other chart for scene 2, okay? So Act 1, scene 1, done. Then you'll go back into our agenda, and we'll get to step 2. So task number 2 says to read and snot, Act 2, scene 3. So we'll need our story. We're going to need to go to scene 3. I'm going to use the bookmark because it's super helpful. All right, scene 3. So same as always, you are going to read scene 3, and then you are going to snot. So like I said before, don't overwhelm yourself with the snots. It's not something that should take hours and hours. As you're reading, when you find something that is significant in any way, highlight it and label why you think it's significant and move on. If you, while you're reading, you find that you have questions, highlight it and ask me questions. All right, so there are some close read questions here. So this one's asking you to highlight in green any words and phrases that show the difference between Mrs. Cratchit and Bob Cratchit's attitude towards Scrooge. So pay attention to how they behave in lines 62 through 71 in terms of their feelings towards Scrooge. And then Why might the author have chosen to show this contrast in their attitude through their dialogue? And then what does the contrast reveal about the personality of each character? You will then answer those questions. Your task 3 is the Polaris close read. So you will answer those questions here, Act 2, Scene 3, close read. And as always, it's the same exact questions. So 62 through 71, what's the difference between Mrs. Cratchit and Bob Cratchit? Tell me why the author would have done this. And then what does it show about the personality of each of the characters? Just copy and paste straight from your story into that and submit. Again, those are just to show me that you have been doing your work, and it's to hold you accountable for reading the story. So we're already on task 3, and notice it hasn't taken that long to get there, and when you're actually doing the work, it won't take you that long. Then task 4 is to go back to your transformation chart and knock out Act 2, Scene 3. So I'd go back to my chart, and now I'm on Act 2, Scene 3, and I'm going to fill out this row all by myself. So again, character traits, text evidence, and then explain. Now there are some questions here that you can answer that might make things a little bit helpful. Read the example 1 and tackle 1 all by yourself. All right, that is it for today's assignments. Today's Google Meet is a Q&A, so you only have to roll in if you've got questions. If you don't have any questions, then don't worry about it, and you can go ahead and continue working. If you start working in the morning and by like 5th period, you realize you've got some questions, even if you're not in that class, you can pop in and ask some questions. That is completely okay. All right, that's it for me. I hope you have a great day.